So, you've been there, right? Staring at some piece of gear that's just acting up. You're pulling your hair out trying to figure out this mysterious radio frequency interference. It's frustrating, but a huge part of being good at troubleshooting is knowing when to stop. That's what we're talking about today. Those key moments when it's time to put down the tools and actually call in a pro.
All right, before we really dive in, just a quick heads up. This is actually part 19 of a big 20-part tutorial. It's called Radio Frequency Interference Beyond Wi-Fi, a consumer guide to common disruptions in frequencies, and it's by RFI Detectives, which is part of the Virtualization Options LLC family. Since we're jumping in pretty deep here, we're going to assume you've got the basics down and you're ready to tackle some of these trickier situations.
Okay, so let's picture this. You've done all the right things, right? You've moved your gear around, you've slapped those little ferrite beads on the cables, you've even tried coordinating frequencies, and the interference is still there. It just won't go away. That feeling of frustration, that's actually a really important clue. It's telling you that the question you need to ask isn't, how do I fix this anymore? It's, okay, now what?
So the first big red flag, and this one's huge, is when you realize your toolkit is just completely outmatched. I mean, the difference between the stuff you and I can do at home and what a real professional brings to the fight, it's just massive. Let's take a look at what that really means.
Yeah, check this out. It really puts it in perspective. On one side, you've got the consumer toolkit, right? Moving stuff around, adding those ferrites, and hey, that works for a lot of common problems. But then you look at what the pros have. We're talking spectrum analyzers that let them literally see every radio signal floating around you. They have directional antennas to hunt down the exact source, and they do something called modulation analysis, which is basically like getting the interference's fingerprint. Seriously, it's like you brought a flashlight to the job and they rolled up with a full-on forensic crime lab. So when all your best efforts just aren't cutting it, it's pretty much always for one of these reasons. Either the interference is getting into your gear through some weird, complex path you just can't see, or the source is just way too strong for your fixes to even make a dent. Or, and this is a tricky one, the source is so subtle you need that pro-level equipment just to prove it even exists.
Okay, let's talk about the second red flag. And honestly, this one is a really big deal. We're moving beyond just being annoyed now. Sometimes, an R5 problem is about safety and regulations. And when you hit that point, you have to escalate, no question.
And this is the key difference right here. If your TV gets a little glitchy, that's your problem. It's annoying, but it's a tech issue. But if whatever's happening at your place starts interfering with licensed services, like, say, the radios the police and fire departments use, you've just crossed a very serious line. That's a regulatory issue. And trust me, agencies like the FCC take that stuff very seriously. This is absolutely not a DIY project.
Just look at this list. This is where things get really, really serious. We're not talking about a little static on your car radio anymore. We're talking about interference that could mess with aircraft navigation, first responders' communications, or even medical devices. And think about it. What if it's hitting your home security system? If you have even the slightest suspicion that RFI is affecting any of this stuff, the risk is just way too high to mess around with this yourself. This isn't about convenience. It's about safety. Period.
All right, red flag number 3. This one happens when you kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture. If this weird interference isn't just your problem, if it's happening all over the neighborhood, you're probably up against something big and external, something way too powerful for one person to handle.
So here's the question you've got to ask yourself. Is it just me? You need to go talk to your neighbors. Are they having the same problems? If your garage door is going haywire and theirs is too, that's a massive clue. It probably means the culprit isn't your new gadget, but something much bigger, like noise coming off the power lines or some powerful transmitter nearby.
And this is where you find out there's real power in numbers. The source material says it best. When you get together with your neighbors, when you all document the problem, suddenly you have a really strong case. It's that collective voice, that mountain of evidence, that finally gets the utility company or some government agency to actually pay attention and do something about it.
Okay, so you've decided, that's it, I'm calling a professional. Great, but what now? Well, to make that call count, you need to switch hats. You're not the troubleshooter anymore. Now, you're the lead investigator. Your mission is to build a rock-solid case file to hand over to the expert.
This right here, this is your game plan. The more of this stuff you can do, the faster a pro can solve your problem. First, start a log. Write down the exact dates and times it happens. Then, describe exactly what's going on. What are the symptoms? And this is a big one. Look for correlations. Does it only act up when you run the microwave? Write that down. Then, grab your phone. Take pictures of your setup.
Even better, get a video of the problem as it's happening. That's golden. And last, pull together the specs for your devices, model numbers, frequencies, all that jazz. If you do all this, you're giving the expert a huge head start.
In the end, it really just comes down to a simple cost-benefit analysis. You've got to weigh what it's going to cost to bring in an expert against how important the system is that's acting up. And you got to be honest with yourself. How many hours have you already wasted on this, and how badly do you need this thing to just work? Everyone's answer to that is going to be a little different.
So that brings us to the final question, the one you really need to ask yourself. When you think about your tools, the high stakes, the scope of the whole problem, what are you really up against here? Is this RFI just some minor annoyance you can kind of live with? Or is it a critical risk you absolutely cannot afford to ignore? Your answer to that question will tell you exactly what you need to do next.